Hey guys, welcome back to another video, and I'm gonna do a very quick should you summon here, okay? We're gonna go over all of the banners coming this month, and also the banners coming tomorrow, obviously. I think most people should skip this, but there is still a couple of reasons why this may be worth summoning for. But let's go over it. So, starting off, what do we know is coming? Well, obviously we're having Born and Astral tomorrow, like I said. But if we look through different events or game news, you can see that we have other banners coming. We have the limited heroes, which is coming around Christmas, about Christmas Eve, and will be running about 4 days. And then we also have Airless and Adrian, which is huge. Airless is one of the best healers in the game. My opinion is Airless is the best healer in the game apart from Diao-chan, who I think is a bit better. With Rivenhall, there's a Diao-chan replacement now, and it's kind of a weird thing to try to value. Is Diao-chan better than Airless now after Rivenhall or something? It doesn't matter. Airless is, in my opinion, better than Elowen, and I use her the most out of any healer in the game, apart from Diao-chan, who is obviously a bit better. And then we're getting Valara, Rivenhall, and Ingrid and Kadgrit. Right? So when it comes to summoning this weekend, we have to think, well, do you need limiteds at all? And do you need airless? Because Adrian is decent. If you want an HP based damage dealer, you got good HP based gear. Maybe you're missing a DPS in Matrix that you want to pair with Rivenhall if you pull him. You can maybe make Adrian work at a good level, but I'm gonna just say, do you pull for Vorn, which is the main highlight on this banner? Do you pull for a limited, or do you pull for airless? Now, let's go over the facts here, okay? So Vorn, what is Vorn good for? In my opinion, Vorn is the worst out of three, because Vorn only really has one main use case, which is to pair with the Poisoner comp. But that is still a really good use case. Born essentially puts out two different types of poisons. He puts out Shield Break to allied fighters, which is really good for the best piece of content for him, which is going to be Abyss. In Abyss, it's very, very, very good to use your Vorn, paired with your Numera and your Nastia if you have them. Easily the best team that you can make is going to utilize things like Born, right? Like I said, just pairs the best with Poison Comp, which is the most meta. You can see in Mad, pretty much everyone's hitting 60k. I mean, there's almost no one not hitting 60k. And those people have like A0 Kagiri and A3 Wukongs and still hitting high. But whatever. Most people are using the Poison Comp. Even at A0, you can make it work. Beyond that point, Born is very good for Codex, specifically the Arbiter of Frost. Very, very, very strong. Easily the best damage dealer in this piece of content. Does the most and is incredibly important. Not only that, you could use them in some other areas. Like I saw some people in Mother of Crows using Vorn, Nastia, and Numera with the poison comp, and there's some other use cases, but for the most part, those are the two use cases I find the most value in for my Vorn. That's where I use him the most. I think he's good, but he's not really going to help you out too much in other areas. While if we go to Airless, Airless, like I said, is debatably the best healer in the game, or at least a top 3 minimum. When you get into later content, Elowen stops being the best Rage Regen healer, and Airless essentially will replace her in almost every piece of content in the game for an endgame player, right? Elowen has a bit more use in stuff like Abyss if you need that extra damage increase. You're going to use them both in Matrix and stuff, but Airless just is so good in GVG, in Arena, and in areas like Gear 3, she's a lot better. This is because instead of it being only a 1% rage per second, like Elowen does, or 3% rage every 3 seconds, functionally 1% every 1 second, Airless does that with doubling it to anyone she is healing, essentially. So 2% rage a second is ridiculous. Not only that, she puts out Unyielding on an ally. When they're about to die, as long as they've been healed before, they're going to survive. And this refreshes. Not only that, she has probably the strongest single target heals in the game. Not only that, she also puts damage reduction. Not only that, she gives rage to herself. Like, she is insane. And if you get her awakenings, obviously this is only for like big whales or whatever. Her awakenings are really good too. Her A1 makes it so that she does more healing. A3 gives some of the strongest damage increase, at least 50% when the bearer's HP drops below 75%. It's going to put it out. But even then, we get 30% damage increase. Really good A3. And the A5 is good as well, right? Makes her heal more often. If you don't have Airless, I think Airless is far and beyond more important than Born. If you don't have either or, I think Airless will probably give you more value, especially if you do not have Eloin, you need Airless. If you have Eloin, and maybe you're earlier in the game, you don't have to go for Airless now, but just keep in mind that she's very valuable for the future. But if you're endgame, you care about guild versus guild, you care about arena, you care about progressing in gear raids and stuff like that, you need to pick up an Airless. It's if you can, right? But then the biggest elephant in the room is we're getting a choose your own limited banner, which puts everything else kind of out of whack because you should be going for the limited banner instead of Airless or Born, in my opinion. And the reason for that is some of these heroes that are some of the strongest characters in the game will maybe never come back on their own banners. Now, which one of those am I talking about? Kagiri has not been on a banner just for him since September of last year. It has been over a year since Kagiri has been on a banner, and he's only been on one. Kagiri is one of the strongest limiteds in the game. Now, I'll have a limited tier list up probably later, right before the banner goes live, but still, Kagiri is ridiculously good, but he kind of needs awakenings. Very worth unpolished soulstones, by the way. And to even get the first copy is hard. So he's going to be very important, right? Something like a Diao-chan and a Wukong have had a bunch of banners, but you have to get them to a good awakening level, right? If you're going to progress in a lot of content in this game, especially Abyss, in Kagiri's case, Matrix, like, there's a lot of use cases for these heroes. And then even beyond that, there's some heroes that are very specific that have never been reran more than once. Dahlia's never been reran once. Dahlia's who I will pick because I have everything at a high awakening for limiteds, and I have every limited. I don't recommend picking Dahlia, but still, just an example, right? And then the main one that's kind of confusing is Gwendolyn. Gwendolyn got buffed recently. We're getting new Northerners. So it's kind of hard to judge whether or not you need a Gwendolyn because she has not been reran for almost 2 years. Literally 2 years. And she has never been on a banner. So the only way to get her is to either have an account that's old enough for you to pick her at the time, or you have to pick her on a choose your own limited. And most of us are not massive whales. So we don't have the ability to awaken our Kagiri's, Wukong's, Diao-chans if we manage to pull them. And even then, that relies on you playing for more than a year to even get Kagiri in the first place. Or pick them on the choose your own banner, that we don't have the luxury to pick a Gwendolyn. But Gwendolyn is potentially very valuable because of her buffs. She puts out rage regen, she puts out great shields. Personally, I don't think she's as needed. These are all things that the limited banner could give you. And these are things that I personally value higher than going for a short-term Born. Because always remember, characters like Born, characters like Airless, will be reran on banners in the future often. And not only that, they are always pullable. So you may just get lucky pulling for another hero, and you may get them, right? You could pull in the freaking Airless banner and get a Born, right? You could pull in a random 2x and get a Born, right? These are all things that can happen. But when we have a limited amount of summons, you have to kind of choose your battles. And in my opinion, the battle you should pick is the one that will probably boost your account more by picking a powerful limited, unless everything is freaking A5. And I think because these are so rare and because these heroes are not pullable outside of picking them, I think that is what you should save your summons for. So I guess in a long roundabout way, What I'm saying is I don't think y'all should pull for Vaughn. He is great. He's a great hero. You want him eventually. But right now, when it's Christmas and then we don't even have any vague idea what the New Year's banners are going to be, I think it's wise to save. Anyways, that's everything I wanted to talk about. Stay tuned for the limited choose ranking tier list, whatever the heck. I'll try to make it like 5 minutes when the banner's about to come out because I mean I've made that video like 5 times, but Gwendolyn's good now, so things have changed a little bit. Anyways, that's it for me. Thank you guys for watching. Best of luck with your polls if you do plan to poll, and I mean I don't recommend it, but whatever. And if you're gonna spend, use my one link, I guess. So yeah, that's it for me. You guys, that's signing out.